Hey Flosstube, it's Lori of Mischievous Stitches. It is Sunday, May the 6th, and I'm back with a weekend update to show you what I've been working on this past week. Mania has hit, and there's been a lot of mania mayhem going on here in my stitch room. I decided at first to just do 2 starts on May 1st, and that has morphed into Mania mayhem. I have made a start every day. Let me just show you what I've been working on. What I had decided to do originally was to work on the 2 pieces, start them on the 1st, work on them throughout the month, and continue to work on the piece that it was one of the samplers that Jacob had picked for me to start this year, and that is Forever Young. So I was going to work on my new starts maybe at work if I had a lunch break, and then when I'm home continue to work on Jacob's. Well, that's totally out the window. I did get a little bit of work done on Jacob's this week. I think I worked on this terracotta line down this week, so I've gotten some progress. And even though that idea went right on out the window because I've not worked on it for a few days. I love the colors on this. I love the fabric. I love everything about this. So my first 2 starts from Mania were going to be the Sally Spencer sampler and They Send. So that day at lunch, I made a start on Sally Spencer. And there are many of us stitching along on this together that started it on the 1st. And we're hashtagging it in Instagram as Mustang Sally SAL or Mustang Sally Stitch Along. I'm stitching it on 36 count vintage Sahara by a Belfast linen, and that is my start. Not very much. And the colors, I know I've shown this in I think the last video, but I know not everybody watches my video every week, but I want to give you a good look at those colors because I think they're wonderful. So there's that. And They Send, I started that when I got home on the 1st that evening after work, and that is this piece. Now, I purchased this, I've wanted it for some time. And then I saw Cretia and Trisha stitching it, and that just did me in, seeing their Instagram post. So this is what I started. The sad thing was I was concerned that I would only have a thread or 2, and I would make a start, but I would, only be able to make a start on the area that I had thread, and I would probably just do it in DMC. No, I pulled my thread box, my overdyed thread. I had all of them but about 2. And that's sad because I had no idea. So I will be using threads on hand. I've not had to buy anything to make this start. And I didn't get much done that evening, but I got enough done to know that I'm going to be hooked on this. As soon as I finish Jacob's, I will be working on this one. And I do feel the same way about my start from last night too, but I'll show you that one in just a minute. But that's all I got done. And this is just an enormous piece of fabric, and this is folded in half. My friend Karen messaged today, and we are so bad about enabling each other as stitchers. And she saw this start, and she said she's been sitting on the fence for this for years, and then I show it, and she comments, the next comment is, "Oh, I just found it on eBay. It's on its way to me. It'll be here Thursday." And that's just the kind of thing I would do. I'll get on Instagram or watch a video, and I have to go right out immediately and buy it like today. What is it? With Thy Needle and Thread, the Indigo, is it Lane? I think it's Indigo Lane. I have been sitting on the fence about that one for a while. I love the colors. I love the fabric it's done on. I've seen a few of you stitching it out there on Instagram. And then the Carolina Stitcher, Faye, started it yesterday or today as her Mania start, and that was it. It's on the way to me. So anyway, those were my 2 May 1st starts. So on May 2nd, I pulled out this piece. It's Fract Your Bird by Teresa of Shakespeare's Peddler, our very own kitten stitcher. And I made a small start on that. And it was a kit, so I didn't have to look for thread or anything like that. Oh, that's the other part. That's the pattern, not the... And I have it stored in my little Marlene bag. But this was my start on that. So I got a good bit done on my lunch break that day. But, you know, one color I didn't have to change, you know, change colors. So just rethread the needle. But you can see the eye of the bird here, and this is the back of the bird and its breast, and it's the beginnings of its tail. So that'll be a quick finish once Mania is over, I'm sure. Maybe a weekend finish. I think Jen of Jen's Stitch Niche, was that the one she said she'd stitched on a trip? Probably not. I get everything wrong. I seem to. I generally know, remember what you guys say on your floss tubes. It's just that everything seems to run together sometimes. Anyway, so we've got the 1st and the 2nd, and this is my 3rd start. And this is Caroline Behringer. I was so excited to get started on her. I bought her in January at Sassy Jack Stitchery in Weaverville, North Carolina. She had the model on display, but what really sold me is seeing Jen stitch this back in November. So I made a start on my lunch break on the 3rd, and I have A and B. And let me show you those threads, because this is what sold me on this piece. I've shown you all before on another video, but once again, look at that. And they're wools, and they're soft, and they're just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Now, I did not use the call for fabric. I don't, let's see, what the fabric does it call for? Wheat Style Works Beige. This is Toasted Almond by Hand Dyed by Stephanie that I chose for it. I think it works, and I love it. So that's another one that I will probably jump right on in the next few months. And then which was that? So that was May the 1st was 2, 3, 4. This is no, I don't know what day I'm on. What is that? 1 and 2, 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th. Get with it, Lori. This is May 4th. And this was a piece that was gifted to me by a friend. She'd gotten this at a class she'd taken, Blackbird Designs. It's a simple wish. And it comes with the threads, full skeins, the fabric, and I made a small start. And I started off doing 2 over 2, and I've not, look at that fabric, I've not ironed the fabric. And you could tell by how twisted up the thread is that I had to remove it, but this is the beginnings of one of the flowers in the center. And the flower is beautiful, but I was off somewhere, I don't know where, and so I had to remove the stitches twice during my lunch break. The 3rd time I was done, I didn't get them all put back in. But at first I stitched with 2 over 2, and of course this is some hand-dyed fibers, so I'm stitching 1 complete stitch at a time. And with 2 threads on what, I don't even know what count fabric this is. It calls for 2 over 2 on 30 count. So this is 30 count linen, and it was 2 over 2. I'm so used to stitching with just 1 thread now. 2 over 2 seems bulky, and the stitches are uneven, and I wasn't enjoying it at all. So like I said, I was off a stitch. I had to remove the first outline of the flower, and because I did, I went ahead when I put them back in and put in only 1 strand of thread. So that's it. I'm sorry, I stitched it twice, 2 over 2. and didn't like it. So when I had to remove it that second time is when I put it back in as one. And I like it so far. Let me show you that pattern again. So I've made a start right here. And I did notice that Faye, Carolina Stitcher, she is working on this for her Mania too. And I love that. I love to scroll through Instagram and see what everyone else is working on. And not only to be inspired, but to say, hey, that's in my lineup too. And not that I really have a lineup. I'm talking about what I've already started. I'm really just grabbing what speaks to me that day. I have an insane amount of stash, or what I consider to be insane, not obscene, insane amount of stash, and I just need to get stitching it. And I will tell you one thing. Let me go back to Sally Spencer. This girl right here is one of the ones that convinced me to go ahead and do Mania. And I say that because the verse in this says, sooner begun, sooner done. Right here. And Sally is so right. She was a wise girl. I have so much stash that there's no way I'm going to finish it in a lifetime. And to have all those beautiful threads and all those beautiful patterns, whether I finish them or not, it doesn't matter. But I love them enough to buy them. I love them enough to think that I wanted to stitch them and have them in my home, or to gift them to a beloved friend, and to have it just sitting there waiting for years. Some of the stuff is for years that I have not touched it. No. So Sally's right. And so for my Mania, that is going to be my motto. Sooner begun, sooner done. True words. Speaking of one that has been laying on the wayside for a very long time is my Elizabeth Lily sampler. And that's by Macintosh Samplers. I bought this at the Spirit of Cross Stitch Festival I think it was in Knoxville, Tennessee. It may have been Nashville. I'm thinking it was Knoxville. In 1998, I was pregnant with Jacob. Jacob will turn 20 in the fall of this year. So that tells you how long I had this. Kitted up, thread, fabric, and had not started it. This is one of his sampler picks for me this year. So yesterday, I had more time because, it's Saturday, not working. And she's going to be a big girl too. I am stitching this on 32 count. That's what I had. I don't stitch on 32 and 28 typically now. It's usually 36, 35. But this is the start. I'm not crazy about the colors. Now, overall, look at the picture. It's a beautiful sampler. I know it's a reproduction, but I'm not crazy about that bright pink and Pepto pink, light blue, but I have noticed something about myself that I have caught myself saying often since I've done these videos this past year, is that every time I start a new pattern, I always have a lot of, wouldn't necessarily cause it anxiety, but just angst of, I don't like it something most times when I'm starting it. It's either I don't like the thread colors, I don't like the coverage, I don't like how it's starting out, and I press on and I keep going, and you guys are cheering me on and helping me to focus on the positive things about that piece, and I always end up loving it in the end. So at this point, I'm not happy with it because I'm doing it on 32 and because of those colors, but I'm going to keep chugging along on that for Jacob, and I'm sure I'm going to love it. So that was my start for yesterday on the 5th of May. So this is my start for today. Now, I did cheat. Well, I wouldn't really call it cheat. I started at 12:30 last night. That's how late I stayed up stitching because I'm so excited about Mania. In my last video, I showed you the Noah's Ark piece from the Jenny Bean for the parlor that I had bought it from the market. And I went ahead and made a start. I ordered these 3 last week, right after making my video. And the reason I did is I made a comment in the video that I knew that Teresa had finished number 4, but I did not know if it was available. It is available. Jen from Jen Stitching Niche has it, and I'm sure others do too. That Jen just happens to be the one that I order from, and because they're besties, I think if I want one of Teresa's designs, I need to get it from Jen. That's just my thinking. So anyway, I went ahead and ordered the other 3 that I did not have, and I made a start, and I'm excited about it. So I'm just thinking, I've got a needle sticking through here. We've got to fix that problem. Okay. I didn't get much started, but that's it. So that's my meager start on Jenny Bean for the parlor. And as soon as I get this video uploaded, I'm sure I'm going to go upstairs and get ready to sit down for a long stitch for the rest of the day and get a little more started. It's a great design. The best thing I think about it is like, this is what the point I'm working on. You can break this up. Look at this. This is number 4. This is the one that she just finished. You don't have to stitch this as part of the Jenny Bean for the parlor. This would look great on its own. And it says, let the children come to me. And then this is number 2. Yeah, number 2. Adam and Eve. Love them. Love them. All right, so that takes me through the 6th. And what am I going to stitch on the 7th? Well, I'm going to be stitching with another friend. We're going to do a little stitch along tomorrow on a blackbird design. And other than that, I have no further plans. I'm just going to grab whatever's kitted up. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to enjoy myself. I'm going to have fun. I am outside of my comfort zone. I did Mania the first year in 2015, and after I think I kitted up 9 projects, was going to do the whole 15. I didn't make it through but just a few because I just couldn't handle it. I'm trying not to think about it too much, and I've done very well with that this week. So I'm just going to go for it. Not going to think about it. These things are kitted up. I'm not buying anything new to start. There's no reason, because sooner begun, sooner done. So if you don't follow me on Instagram and you're interested to see what I start during the week, my Instagram page is the same as my YouTube channel name here, Mischievous Stitches. I've been putting just one picture of on each day of what I have started for that day and the little bit of progress I made. I'm so happy to see everyone else's Mania starts. Like I said, you enabled me. I want to cheer you on. I love what I see. I love that you guys are excited about stitching like me. So there's that. And I showed you this one. I really wanted to start this one yesterday. Spanish sampler, not Mexican sampler, but Spanish sampler, Cinco de Mayo. I did not have a piece of fabric big enough. So soon, maybe in a month or so, I'm going to have to get another yard of fabric. So it'll be my second full yard of fabric in my little stitch life to start this. And Michelle Bendy and I have decided this is the chrysalis sampler, so I still love it. It's really hollering my name. All right. In my last video, I had a lot of people comment about the background noise of the wind chimes and the birds. To be honest, I guess because I live here and I hear it all the time, I didn't notice it, and I had to go back and watch my video to hear what you were saying. So we're sitting in my dining room. There's 2 huge windows right behind you, and I usually, if the weather's cool, have it open. I have bird feeders there, and the wind chimes are they're all about Canaan as a little guy. He loved them. And you know, we ended up putting up like 4 different chimes on the outside of the house in different places, and when he passed them, he would have to chime, you know, make it chime. And the birds, they're all in the bushes out front. I know that there's at least 2 nests in a bush right here in front of me, as well as there's bumblebees everywhere, and there is another nest on the other side of the garage. So we've got lots of activity going out there. And there's actually one on my front porch. I have a huge wreath on my front door that we had to take down. We had birds trying to make nests in those. So every time you open the door, you would freak the mama bird or the daddy bird out. And whoever was coming up, usually my daughter Chelsea, got attacked by the mama bird. One day the bird flew in the house and flew upstairs, and my son-in-law had to catch the bird and bring him back down. So we took the wreath down until all this baby bird birthing is over. What else? There were a few more questions. I need to write them down, don't I? I don't remember what they are. I apologize. I've been continuing to watch you guys here on Flosstube. I'm really enjoying listening to you guys on the way to work instead of, like I said, into the radio. I have watched and now have caught up completely with Jenny, is it Jenny? I'm thinking it's Jenny Swartz. So if you've not seen her channel name, it goes by her name, Jenny Swartz. She's great. Relatively new Flosstube. I think she just posted number 5. I enjoy seeing what she's working on, what she's stitching, and I always enjoy seeing everyone's enthusiasm for their stitching. So if you haven't watched her, go over and give her a look. I'm missing Farm Girl. I know she's gearing up for her retreat that's this weekend, and I know everyone's had a great time this weekend. I don't have to wish it on you because I'm sure you're having a wonderful time. I've seen a few photos come through last night from that retreat. Looks like lots of fun. So I'm looking forward to seeing another video posting from her. Who else? I can't even think. I have watched so many this week, and I just let them run because I'm driving. I can't keep my hands on the phone, so I'm just letting them autoplay. So I'm being exposed to a lot of Flosstubers that I have not seen before, and that's been great too. Because typically when I'm home, pull you up on the TV, I'm catching up with the ones that I have subscribed to that I have not yet watched their videos. So I don't always do the autoplay. I don't always, unless someone shouts someone out or they're shouted out numerous times, do I run out and look. But when I do the autoplay, it's easy to get introduced to new people that you don't know. And other than that, I hope everyone has a great week, a great Mania week number 2. Keep posting those pictures. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm certainly enjoying that. And hugs and stitches. Take care. Bye-bye.